Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Zarina. I am Kyrgyz from Kyrgyzstan, but I've been living in Hungary for over 7 years. And even though I don't speak any Hungarian or very little, how I call it supermarket Hungarian, so basically I'm only able to go to a supermarket and buy some food, I managed to take a loan and buy a flat here in Budapest, where I am right now, by the way. And I am willing to help you in case if you are potentially interested in investing in property in Hungary, or maybe you're just thinking about it, or maybe you are actually going to do it soon. So I hope that this information will be useful. I'm going to tell you how to take a loan, what steps you will have to go through, how to what kind of people are supposed to help you with that, and what kind of bureaucratic steps you have to go to buy the flat actually. So let's begin. In case if you find this video interesting, please comment below and tell me how this information is actually helpful to you, and what else would you like to know about living in Hungary, or some kind of procedures that you might go through, so I will be able to identify what next video to do about. Now, before we begin to talk about the process itself, I just wanna, as a little introduction, I wanna say that honestly, it's not a one-time thing. Of course, it's not like this to go to a supermarket and buy a pack of eggs. It's more complicated than this, but at the same time, it is not as nearly complicated as I imagined it will be. Honestly, I actually expected it will be much worse, and I thought that it will be like, I honestly thought that the fact that I don't speak language in this country and I'm in a foreign country and the laws are different and I'm not aware of everything, I thought that I will mess up something really badly that will backfire at me, and I'm even more than a year later, I still wait for someone to knock on my door and tell me like, get the hell out of here, it's not your flat, or something like this. I don't know, like I was freaking out and I thought that it will be super complicated, but it actually wasn't that bad. So let's see what steps you have to go through. First of all, first things first, of course, you will have to actually decide whether you're interested in buying some kind of a property. Since I bought a flat, I'm going to talk about how to buy a flat in particular, because I know that there are some small differences between the process of buying a flat and buying a house or a land. So there are some little differences which you would have to find out on your own or from some other source, because I'm not aware. So once you decided that you want to invest in a flat in Budapest or anywhere in Hungary, basically, you would have to find a flat that you would like to buy. In the description below, I'm going to leave a couple of links to the main websites where I think most of the people here actually find their flats to buy or even to rent. Here, small note for me, if you're a foreigner just like me, and especially if you don't speak Hungarian, I find it much easier actually and very useful thing to use real estate agents. I know that a lot of people actually don't like real estate agents and they think that all of them are scammers, which is not true, of course. Of course, be careful, of course, make sure that you are dealing with a professional, but at the same time, it will make, at least it made my life so much easier, because first of all, I didn't have to arrange with the potential sellers, with the owners of the flats. I didn't have to arrange the meetings on my own. Like, the agent was doing everything for me. So basically, I just told the agent what I want to buy, and that agent was looking for the flats for me, sending me via email. It was super comfortable. The agent was sending the emails to me with potential flats. I was checking them online, and then I was responding with those which I wanted to go and check out, and he was arranging that for me, and then we would go there together, and he would be also playing a role of a translator. Now, important thing why it's actually great to use real estate agents is because you don't have to pay them, not even a foreign. This money is included, the fee of the agent is included in the price of the flat. The agent eventually will charge the seller a certain percentage, I think it's like 1%, I'm not sure, 0.5%, of the cost of the flat, but it won't be you who will be paying that money. So eventually I was bargaining for my flat, and I bought it a little bit cheaper than they were asking for, and I didn't pay the agent. Eventually the seller paid the agent. So I find it extremely useful and helpful to use those agents, because you know, they get paid, you get less headache, and you don't even have to pay for that. So I think it's a great deal. Now, here's the moment when I am saying that we have two scenarios from now on. Once you found exactly the flat that you would like to buy, it really depends, your further steps depend on whether you have actually in cash that amount of money to pay for that flat, or you are planning, like me, to take a loan. In order to take a loan in the bank in Hungary, according to the law, you have to be either a citizen of Hungary or a permanent resident. To be honest, I'm not sure about the European Union citizens, also find it out on your own, but I think if you are a European Union citizen who is legally, I mean, like registered here in Hungary, and you have a work here, you can just get this permanent registration and you will be also eligible. Now, I'm a permanent resident, so I was eligible to receive a loan in the bank. If you are a foreigner who has the whole amount, then you don't have to have any kind of documents here. You can just come and buy and done. But if you need a loan, then you have to be either a citizen or a permanent resident. Now, let's talk about the scenario with the loan. Because it's much more complicated, and that's actually the scenario I went through. So if you need a loan, then before, really, this is my strong advice to you, before you do any other action, before you take any other steps, please first deal with the bank. First, choose the bank that you would like to take the loan from. Go to all of the banks and ask about their offers. There are special people actually who will make your life easier, because they will find all the offers and they're gonna show you the comparison, and they will tell you which bank is actually offering you the best percentage in your case for your particular budget, so you can actually save time and sometimes nerves by using those people, or just simply go to all the banks, which I did, and eventually I chose to use UniCredit Bank because they had more or less decent English speaking service, actually, because most of the banks were just almost literally closing the door in front of my face when I would tell them that I'm a foreigner and I don't speak Hungarian. Some bank even told me that it is impossible to get a loan, while I knew that I can actually do that. So anyway, I chose UniCredit Bank, and there was a great woman who actually helped me with the whole process as well. She, for free, I mean, she works for the bank, so I guess she gets some kind of a commission from the bank, but she helped me with the whole process, and she prepared all the documents for me, and she explained me everything. So before you take any further steps, request the bank that you've chosen to take a loan from, request them to do the evaluation of the flat. The evaluation of the flat is important in order for the bank to identify whether the money that you are requesting from the bank is actually an adequate amount, you know, that actually this flat costs that money that you're asking from them. So the person from the bank will come to that flat on the arranged time, and you will be there as well, and the seller will be there as well, and that person is going to go around the flat, take some pictures, and finally make a decision and write some kind of a report and file it to the bank, stating that I think that this flat costs this and this much, and this is the market price of the flat. Now, that's very important for you, and that's why I'm saying that you should do it first, because if you are, like in my case, have a very limited budget, then for you it is very important that the bank is going to give you the full amount of the loan that you actually need. For example, my flat cost 12 million forints, and according to the law I was supposed to cover 20% of that cost from my own pocket, and the bank was supposed to give me maximum 80% of that cost, which means that I paid 2 point something million forints from my pocket, and the bank would give me the rest. But in case if that evaluator would say that no, this flat doesn't cost 12 million, it only costs 10 million, let's say, then the bank would refuse to give me 80% of the real price that I actually needed, and the bank would give me only 8 million forints and not a penny more, and which would put me in trouble because I didn't have like 4 million to cover the rest, you know what I mean? So make sure that you actually ask for that evaluation before you start any other process, before you even pay to the lawyer and everybody else, because you might lose money here on the spot, not even you know, like not even when the process has actually started. This evaluation will cost you 33,000 forints. Now, in my case, each bank offers you different kind of packages, and in my case, UniCredit offered me a package where this money came back to me once I received the loan. So it's like their service that you pay 33,000 forints for this evaluator on the spot when he's coming to evaluate the flat, but then the bank is going to reimburse you for that money in case if you actually proceed with the loan with the bank. Once the evaluation is done and the bank is telling you officially, like, this is how much maximum money we can give you based on your salary, based on the price of the evaluation, based on some other factors and your documents and everything, the bank is going to make an official decision and give you a certificate, of course if you request it, that this is how much we're planning to give you as a loan. If you're okay with it, let's start. Now, in my case, I was lucky and the evaluator actually evaluated it as 12 million, exactly as much as I needed, so the bank was willing to give me the money. Now the next step would be, or even before that, but like don't pay the lawyer before you do the evaluation, the next step would be to hire a good lawyer. Try to find someone according to the recommendations. Now, if you actually need a recommendation, if you actually need a contact of my lawyer who was dealing with my case, please comment below and I'm gonna share it in a private message. I am not going to put his contacts under my video because I did that in the Russian version of that video and a lot of people commented with like some negative outbursts saying that I'm basically promoting somebody else's services, which I don't really see what's wrong with that, but still, if you need the contacts, please just comment below and I'm gonna share it. That lawyer really helped me and he really made my life simpler because he prepared all the documents, and not only according to the law, of course, in Hungarian, but also in English. So I had a buying-selling contract in 2 languages, which was great because I didn't have to sign blindly the contract that I don't understand. Also, he was translating throughout the whole process, of course. At every meeting with a seller, he was basically playing a role of a translator and, of course, role as a lawyer, you know. So also a good lawyer can actually warn you about certain things and actually can give you certain advice on how to deal with bureaucracy and where to go and what to do. My lawyer's assistant even submitted certain documents for me, so I didn't have to go to certain municipality offices sometimes because they would just submit these documents on my behalf. My lawyer charged a fixed price of 600 euros. This was the fee for all his services. There are lawyers who will charge you less. You can actually find lawyers for 1 or 1.5% from the price of the flat. Now, in my case, it would be actually less than 600 euros, but I was willing to pay that money because he was suggested to me by my friend. He was trustworthy, plus, you know, again, the English translation actually makes it more expensive. Now, as a foreigner, you also have to know that you actually have to request a permission from the municipality to buy property in Hungary. That is done usually very easily. It takes like 3 weeks or about a month, and most of the time, like I was told by my lawyer, in 90% of the cases they actually do let you to buy property, so they almost never reject the request. But however, you have to have a clear record, of course, and it's just some kind of a bureaucracy step. So your lawyer actually, like in my case, can help you with that. You just have to fill a form in Hungarian and submit it to a certain office, and then the decision will be made in 3 weeks, and after that you can move on with the rest of the process. Before the decision is made and before this paper is released, I do not advise you to proceed with any kind of payments or deposits for the flat. Moving on, when you get the permission from the municipality to buy the property, your lawyer will receive it normally, and then he will notify, or he or she will notify you about the permission. Then you can actually settle a meeting between you and the seller and in front of your lawyer, and this is when you are actually making the buying-selling contract signing, like the first time, because then officially you will have to do the same thing at the end of the whole process. But first you need to sign also an additional contract of a payment of a deposit, it's called. So basically that is the day when you have to pay the 20% in cash that I mentioned earlier from your own pocket, and then the seller is going to sign the document that he received the 20% deposit. Without that paper, the bank won't be able to pay the rest of the money. Important note as well, the bank is not paying that money to you, the bank is transferring that money directly to the account of the seller after everything else, after all the previous steps are cleared. Now, when you have all the permissions and you have the permission from the municipality and the payment, the proof of the payment of deposit and all the other 300 papers that I already told you about, you have to register the flat on your name. You go to the city... What?